Good evening, and it's Ernie live from the theater. We are back in the theater. If you've been watching us at the rodeo, this time we have human guests, no livestock. Well, we've got Walt with us. But hey.
It's true.
Walt's here with me. Hello, Walt.
Hello, Ernie.
And we are at the opening night party for Bright Star right here in Houston at the Hobby Center. Tut's brought into town. Amazing show, wonderful show. And we've got a couple of guests here. But you can get a pair of tickets if you ask questions, make comments. It's all coming up right now. But Walt, who are our guests?
Oh, well, there's Caitlin Davidson.
Hello, Caitlin. Oh, you got to pick up your mic.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
So nice to be here.
Well, it's nice to have you here. She's not alone.
She's not. She's
are
with
not
Jeff
prepared.
Blumenkrantz.
Moo.
Oh, God, I'm back at the rodeo.
I wanted you to feel at home.
All right, Jeff, I have to say, I love your last name.
Really?
Blumenkrantz.
Because it's just so hard to sign things and fill out forms. It just takes a long time.
You should just sign Jeff.
What I sign is Buzz.
Buzz.
Like B-Z.
Oh, that's
Like
pretty
the
cool.
beginning and the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Alpha and the Omega.
A name like that, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Walt Ziprian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a Z.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, this is fascinating, riveting conversation, but we're here tonight to talk about Bright Star, which is an amazing show, and I guess, Caitlin, I'll let you have the task of trying to explain what the show is. I know, there's a lot going on here, but I think I got a good one, but I'm going to let you go first.
Well, I always like to quote the show itself, a sweeping tale of pain and redemption.
That sums it up. pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
So we follow our protagonist, our Miss Alice Murphy, and through her life's journey and the journey of the people along with her. And it's a difficult show to explain because there's not a lot you can talk about without giving away the plot.
Well, I think, and I'll let Jeff take this.
Yeah.
I think that the interesting part is the time shift in it and the way it's laid out. Because stories similar to this have been told, stories about someone's life story and the time. But the way they move back and forth is so clever and well done, smoothly told.
Yeah, and I think it's fun to watch actors, do that shift. The ones that are in both storylines, we are only in the 40s, but there are a handful of characters who do exist in both the 20s and the 40s. So yeah, that is a nice dramatic twist.
You talk about shift, and for both of you, even though your characters live in just one of the time period, the structure, the direction, the movement of the show, if it were silent, I would still have walked away saying this was one of the best shows I had ever seen.
Oh, that's
It's
nice.
just so thoughtfully staged.
Agreed.
How do they do it? I was going to say, how do you do it, but how do they all do it that it flows so gently and smoothly?
Well, both of our the two people who staged the show, which is basically Walter Bobby, the director, and Josh Rhodes, the choreographer, they both have had these extensive careers in the theater, not just as director and choreographer, but also as performers. So they've really been around a lot of creators, and they really have such a strong grasp on how musical stories are told. And they have done a really stellar job on this one.
Yeah. And Jeff, you were in the original Broadway production.
I was.
correct? Or had there been
No.
any workshop or anything?
There was a full production at the Old Globe in San Diego before the Broadway company.
Okay.
I was not a part of that, and I didn't see it, so,
Yeah, so
I
then-
came in blind.
Yeah. So what was your first impression when you saw what it was?
Well, I really didn't know on the page. Like, you look at it on the page, and without the staging and the design, you really don't get a sense of what you're in
I think it
for.
would be hard to read
Yeah,
because of that.
I really didn't know. Like, I read the. This is kind of naughty, but I read the script once before I was cast, and then I just showed up at the first day of rehearsal. Like, I didn't do any kind of, because I saw what I knew what my role was gonna be, and I just knew I could show up and figure it out on the spot, and I did.
Well, you did a good
I
job.
did.
Yes.
But,
Caitlin, how did you come to the story? How did you come to the show?
I actually saw the Broadway production in April 2016, and and loved it, enjoyed it. I had worked with Josh Rhodes, our choreographer, on Cinderella on Broadway and on the tour, and loved his work. And then I auditioned for the tour the next year. I think it was in August, and then we started rehearsals in September in LA.
When you auditioned,
Yeah.
did you audition with a character in mind, or did you just say, it's an audition, I'm auditioning?
Oh, definitely a character in mind. I was given the sides. I was given Lucy's that
So you
the
were- that was the
monologue
character
and
you were-
the song, and the scene, yeah. So I came in auditioning for Lucy. For
When
sure.
did the two of you first get paired together?
First day,
First day of
in
rehearsal.
LA.
Really?
Second day of rehearsal in LA.
Oh, that's
So I
right.
missed the
You
first
missed
day.
it.
Wait, which one of you missed the first day?
I did.
Where were you?
I was in New York.
Oh, you hadn't
At
gotten
a
there yet?
Family function I had to attend.
So, chemistry immediately?
Actually, yes, totally.
If you want to, in the show, the two of you are co-workers.
We're lovers.
We're lovers.
Partners for life.
It's a good joke if you see the show. But you have this wonderful camaraderie that's right there. Off stage, you two get along the same way. Do you have that same kind of connection, or is it different?
He's really terrible to me.
Is he?
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. No, Jeff actually was very warm and welcoming as a new person to the piece, and knowing he had a partner before me.
So you're like the second wife.
I'm the
kinda,
second wife.
The
I mean, there's
trophy
a lot
wife, though. There you go.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, we do want to remind you all, as we're doing this, that you can ask questions, make comments. Everyone that does gets entered into the drawing so that you can get a pair of tickets to come and see Bright Star.
Yeah, and we have one question from Natalie Blumrick, and she wants to know, how can Walt watch the show when he's in the show?
Oh, are you thinking you and him are kind of similar characters? Is that what?
What are you thinking, Natalie? What are you saying, Natalie? Ask another question.
Okay. Just to explain that to those of you who don't know, or those of you who don't know, Walt is also an actor here in town. And I would say he sometimes is cast in roles similar to the role you kind of played.
I can see
could
that.
see him playing that. Say, anything else going on out there?
Yeah, Ken Penny wants to know, what is a fun fact about being part of this traveling show? Good question, Ken.
Ken wants to win tickets, I can tell. A fun fact about being part of this traveling show.
Well, I will say it's a really fun group of people, and we enjoy each other's company, and we enjoy doing things. Like, for instance, in Houston,
Yes.
there was a group. I was not part of it, nor was Caitlin. But not because we weren't invited. I mean, I just wasn't. It wasn't my thing. But a bunch of people went to the rodeo.
Rodeo? Is there a rodeo going on in Houston? Why, you can watch Ernie live at the rodeo every day at 3 o'clock on the Houston Public Media Facebook. But you only have 2 more days to. Are you guys going to watch tomorrow at 3?
Watch,
Of course.
Watch what?
Ernie at the rodeo.
Duh.
Who doesn't watch it? Anyway.
And then next week there's a big group which we will be a part of,
We are
going to NASA.
NASA's always
So
fun.
it's a really fun community, and we do things and we enjoy each other.
Okay, taking us back to the world of theater, your training. Where did both of you train?
I did my undergraduate theater training at
He takes the
Northwestern
mic now. He's got a
University
story to tell.
School of Theater, and then in New York I studied the Meisner technique at the Gately Pool Acting Studio. Caitlin?
I started as a wee babe in Kansas, singing, dancing, doing. Kansas City Starlight was big, and M2IP, KC, and then Music Theater of Wichita. And then I went to college at the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music at the University of Cincinnati in Ohio, and then moved to New York City.
Wow. A small town girl in the big city.
Yep,
Yeah.
here I am.
Okay, so another question then. Favorite roles you've both played?
I'll take this. So,
Jeff's got it. Don't worry, people.
I don't know. This may be the last show I did in New York before this one. Was called Murder for Two. And it was a 2-person show where the other actor played a detective and I played all the suspects, and we both played the piano for the show. And we never left the stage. It was the biggest marathon in theater that I've ever done, and it was so rewarding and it was so exhausting. And I really have to compare it to a marathon. Every night I felt like I just crossed that 26.6 mile.
Yeah.
Holy cow! I did it again.
So you love the challenge.
I loved it. It made use of every skill I have.
Okay, Caitlin.
I'm going to have to go with Cinderella. I started out with the Broadway company as a replacement as a page boy.
I can see it.
I know, right?
Not
I know.
at all.
And also a lady of the court. I know. And then went on to play the stepsister, one of the stepsisters, on tour, and then eventually take over as Cinderella. So I got to experience almost the entire forest of characters that I could possibly
Male
play.
and female.
Yeah. You know, I was really hoping to play the prince, but you know, it didn't work out. So.
Well, you've got your prince right there
I
in this
do.
show.
Oh
and
my
we've got another question. Walt.
We do. Carolyn Moody Drake wants to know, was acting your first choice of career paths?
Oh.
I really wanted to be an engineer, but I couldn't get into any of this. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so this is very funny because I scored perfect on my SAT in math.
Yeah.
So I was accepted into MIT. And so I didn't want it. I wanted communications. So I only wanted to go to Chicago. So Northwestern, Loyola, and DePaul. And Loyola was the only one that had an electronic communication department. Northwestern wanted it to be theater, and it was like I'd have to work too hard. And DePaul was like public speaking was what they thought communication was. So, yeah.
So we were almost classmates.
Almost. I want to find out what years you were in Chicago. Yeah, we could have gone to engineering school together. How different the world would have been if we had chosen that path.
Wait, so who was it? Was it Carolyn?
Carolyn
Moody Drake. Hi, Carolyn.
I was deciding between performing and music. I also am a composer.
I wanted to ask about that, too.
Yeah, so that was my either or, but I found that I've been able to do both. You know, I may wear one hat more than the other one at any given time, but yeah, for me it was acting or music.
Caitlin, if Cinderella hadn't come into your life.
No, I did not want to do anything else. I was that annoying child. My parents put me in dance classes, and they're like, "Oh, it's a phase, but let her get her energy out." And it stuck. At 11, I told my mom I was moving to New York City, and at 14, my parents took me seriously when I said I wanted to go into musical theater and do Broadway. And love you, Mom and Dad. Thank you so much for supporting
as
me.
a child who went through that,
Yeah.
tips to parents out there to know if their child really is serious about it. Because I think every kid wants to be a star, wants to be a theater at some point. What was it that you think showed your parents you really meant it and that they should support it? Uh-oh, Jeff's got an answer.
Yeah, well, every kid is different. I know that persistence. I was in 9 to 11 hours of dance a week. I was taking voice lessons, and I was auditioning for shows and getting cast in shows in the area, and it's all I wanted to do. Yeah. There was never any coercing me to do it or ever getting bored. It was nonstop. It was what I loved.
Jeff, how about for you?
Like Caitlin, my parents were incredibly supportive of me doing whatever I want, and that is what I think parents should do. Because if your kid says they want to be an actor and you support him in pursuing that, whether or not he becomes an actor, he's going to get a valuable education in theater because those skills he can use in any area of life. And you will have supported your child instead of telling him he can't do what he wants and he has to do something else, and then you will have made a depressed engineer.
Okay, before I let you go, brilliant answer.
I have nothing against engineers.
Right.
It's
just
just
we aren't them.
Just depressed engineers.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that sucks.
All right, before I let you guys go to enjoy the party, a question I've been asking a lot recently of guests on the show, because we always have two at a time.
No, we're not coming to the rodeo.
Oh, come on, please. Just watch. It's all I want. Oh, all of you. He's going tomorrow. You're all lying. We love the rodeo. Okay, my question is, which one of you is more like the character you play, and the other one has to answer? Is she more like the character she plays, or are you more like the character you play, and vice versa?
Honestly, this is really neck and neck. I mean, really neck and neck. I don't think.
Caitlin, what do you think?
Yeah, I would agree.
It's really
I really think we are both well cast. Let's just leave it. Can we leave it at that?
Perfectly
Well then.
cast.
Well, then what that says to me is if you should run into either of these two out on the street, enjoy your time with them because they're going to be a lot of fun, very witty.
Thanks,
and
Ernie.
thank you so much. It is a great show. It's
Thanks.
wonderful. And we didn't even mention Steve Martin, Edie Brickell. You know, I mean, they had a little something to do with it, like they wrote it. So, did you guys get? You, I guess, had get to work.
I
with
got
them.
more time with them than Caitlin did, but I'm a big fan of them both. They're incredible, and they were incredible through the process. And I'm only sorry you didn't get to know them as well as I did.
Well, you know what? One of our viewers out there is going to get to know this show a little bit better because right now we're going to draw for a pair of tickets to go and see Bright Star. So the qualifying people are in here. So who wants to draw?
The lady.
One of you. The lady draws. Because her hand is thin enough to get weighed out of the bottom of this glass.
Did you say I have fat hands?
No, not at all.
Did you just call me fat?
No.
You had masculine hands.
Masculine hands. Who got it? Ken Penny. There you go.
Penny.
Ken Penny, you are going to see Bright Star.
And he can come to the shiny penny.
As it is in the show.
That's
y'all.
our scene. Our scene takes place on the shiny penny.
Very important, pivotal moment.
I got to tell Ken one other thing. In the messages right now, send us a message at Houston Public Media and give us your email address, and we'll get you those tickets.
Yeah, because if you're not going to go, Caroline wants to go.
Oh, she does. She always wants to go. All right. Well, I've got to wrap this up because you guys have a party to go enjoy, and I got to get to bed because I got to go back to the rodeo, and we're going to do this again tomorrow, 3 o'clock at the rodeo. Not these three. So anyway, thank you all for watching. We'll be back with the next theater opening right here at Ernie Live on the Houston Public Media Facebook page. Don't forget to like our page right down below and say goodbye to Caitlin and Jeff and to Walt and Ernie. Bye-bye.